We are also in the process of giving the customer some experience through digital platforms so that you're able to know if actually you are satisfying what uh, what they want.
Thank you very much. We wish to have a plenary. You can carry up your hand, you give your suggestion, you give your question. Maoni, you can speak both in Swahili and in English. Can we please have the microphone run around? Nanzia Wapi gives them one of the microphones. Kindly, can we begin with the Dr. Sigoro here, the guy in a suit? Dr. Sigoro here, you may stand so they give you the microphone. Toa maoni yako ama maswali, alafu tuende kwa Dr. Reginaldo.
Thank you very much indeed. I want to appreciate the presence of the CS, Madam Rebecca Miano, and also the PS, Joan Pana, our governor from Lucia, I want to write on the protocol. I just have a comment or input. I'm sure all the guests here have been to Kandui Junction and I've seen the many foodstuffs that we have. They've been to Chile, they've seen many foodstuffs that we have. A number of you have been to Busia Town, you know the foodstuffs that we have in Malaba. Is it not a little bit surprising that most of the onions that we're eating here is imported from Uganda? The watermelons are from there, Sim, Jugus. Even in Dr. Thomas' backyard, most of those crops are actually bought from across. Is there any positive policy to encourage local production of Sim, of watermelon, and even of maize and fish, just but to name a few? Because it looks like...
Charles, I think you're taking note of that. New industries. Can we have another hand? Please run the microphone to that other lady. Welcome, your name and your question, your contribution.
Good evening. My name is Mariana Munyendo. I represent my Working membership. And for us, I think it's just the hope that we are seeing there's a culmination of different government bodies that are coming in.
Yes.
And if we look at the recent report by Kenya Association of Manufacturers that is looking at women in manufacturing and the place and the challenges they face, how can you be able to also identify these key stakeholder groups, possibly women, persons living with disability, and even the youth that are here, for quick return projects that they can be able to plug into all the wonderful dreams that you have for Bungoma County? Thank you.
Thank you. Quick return projects. Please, one of you to capture that. Thank you. Let's move on to this other side before we come back to you. Can we have the young man there?
My name is Edwin Newtu, Employment Summit. My question goes to our MDs here. I'm asking about the TVETs. How do we market these youth from these TVETs in terms of doing exhibition? Because Bungoma, we've not had such a program. You've talked about TVETs. We have very vibrant youth from these TVETs. They're very innovative. How do we come up with maybe a youth market day? We market the ideas from their institutions. That is my question.
Thank you. Could we please move to this other side? No, let's have this gentleman aulize swali ama atoe maoni yake tafadhali.
Okay, my name is Stephen Sifuna, Secretary General of Bodaboda Bungoma. My question is, setting up an industrial park is a novel idea, but are we really ready to sustain this novel project? Because we don't have raw materials. Recently, some factories were shut down because they don't have raw materials. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Raw materials. Could you move to this other end? Could you? Yes, the guy in. I'm colorblind. I don't know which color is that. Is it red? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Clifford Okot. I'm from the Ministry of ICT under the Ajira
let's go to the farthest end. Have the admin ask the question.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that we have all the organs of industrialization here with us, this is what you're Bungoma. With all these collapsed industries or factories, what is the actual plan that you have come about reviving of our collapsed industry? I think that's a big expectation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me come to the panelists. We'll begin from the farthest end. You pick one question as you give us your closing remarks. Charles.
Thank you very much. Maybe I'll touch on two. First is the issue of other industries. I know for textile value chain, it's one of the longest value chains. Indeed, as we promote growing of cotton, we expect to get lint, which we are using as a company, but also there is a seed which results from ginning. And that is like 2/3 of the weight of what is being harvested by the farmer. This is bringing in a number of industries, one being for animal feeds, the seed cake, two, soap making industry or factory, and also edible oil. And maybe by extension, using maybe the plants, you can get briquettes. So I know the low-hanging fruits at the moment is getting the seed and having seed cake, then edible oil, and also soap. Yes, so there are a number of industries which are coming up, and I know because of these interventions, not only being done by the company, specifically Rivertex, we are doing it as a team. We have a very strong stakeholder team, which is being led by the Ministry of Industry, and it cuts across different sectors. So this flooding is huge, and you expect to have it bigger and bigger. I've just told you the weight of seed alone is 2/3. So you expect to get quite substantial of amount of it when you after ginning. And remember, most of our people livestock farmers, so they expect to get feed for the animal, and that is it. There is an industry there. I wanted also to talk about another point on sustainability of the industry, which actually I'll just say, for a company or an industry to be sustained, it will have raw materials closer to it, being access to raw materials. By doing so, the cost of production will be lower. It will be competitive. To be able to compete with the giants of the world. So this intervention being done to ensure that we have good quality lint, good quality seed ultimately, is an intervention which is geared towards improving the industry and bringing in as much raw material as possible. Let me just give my closing remark by saying that as a company based in Eldoret, it's a garment industry producing garments, linen, 100% cotton products, even the camouflage fabric for discipline forces. Very good stuff. Remember, you've seen Kenya Power wearing very nice overalls. Yes, our company is doing that. So, in that case, should we have raw material from our local, from within the country? Any money being used for raw material will benefit the Kenyan population, and also it will go along in doing what we call Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sibi, your point and closing remark.
Thank you. I will take on the question of accessibility of our training programs. We do advertise in January, in May, and in September. It appears on the daily newspaper. Then we are open for short courses. We are open throughout, because when we talk about short courses, we are talking about courses of 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, and 1 month at most. So we are open, and for long courses, our adverts are always January, May, and September. And for the cost, it was mentioned that the cost is very high, 30,000. Actually, 30,000 is for a long course, and it includes accommodation. So I think it's very competitive, because if you look at other TVETs, you will not find an institution which offers accommodation and training at 30,000. Mostly they are above 30,000. And then we have shorter courses, like a course of 1 day has a lesser cost. A course of 1 week has a lesser cost. So we are actually very competitive. My closing remarks, we actually can impart skills to everybody, because our minimum requirements is not based on academic requirements. It is based on your need. So it means if you need to be trained, we are open, and we will actually impart industrial skills to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wambo.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll attempt to answer the question asked by Tan, I think the gentleman there. First of all, let me just take 1 minute to break it down. We need to understand what an aggregation and industrial park is. This is not your normal industrial park, the old-time one, which maybe you just had a piece of land with amenities, and you would come and put garages or whatever. This particular aggregation park is called a County Integrated Industrial Park. First of all, it is agriculture-centric. Basically, focus will be on agricultural products unique to each and every county. Now, for instance, if we break it down to Bungoma, in Bungoma's particular case, we shall be looking at products, agricultural products available within the region. Then we shall aggregate. By aggregation, now we mean we shall collect all these agricultural produce that are being produced in small scale or not under the radar, collecting them to acceptable levels for either export or local consumption after value addition. So that's why these particular industrial parks are unique, because number one, you aggregate, value add the product, and then source for market for it. I really like what Dr. had asked, because there's been a bit of a disconnect whenever products are set for development, and it tends to, the disconnect comes in the essence that lack of proper research is done in terms of quantity, so that when this industry is set up, you realize that they've actually run out of the source material. That is very true, and luckily enough, through the State Department, this time round, a lot of thought process was put into establishment of these aggregation parks. For instance, it has a 2-tier management structure. Top tier, steering committee; lower tier, implementing committee, where I happen to sit. One of our tasks as the implementing committee, we have been tasked to establish quantities of the agricultural produce which we intend to aggregate. Are they sufficient? For Bungoma, we've been racking our heads, we've been sitting, and we're not just doing it as the Department of Industry. We have had to involve other sectoral players. For instance, our sister Department of Agriculture. We are trying to need to establish whether the quantities of a particular product which we will choose, are they sufficient for aggregation and value addition. I'll surprise you, for instance. Bungoma, when you look at it, we pride ourselves as a county of chicken. We even tell most of our visitors, Waziri, make sure you taste the chicken. But when we look at the industry, we have an industry of chicken processing in, I think it's Kimeli.
Yes. One of the ailing factors has been lack of sufficient capacity to run it. He needs close to 4,500 birds in a day if he's to run his full lines. But at best, he's getting 1,800. Even after giving the raw product to the farmers. Now, when we come to Bungoma, when we look at, for example, our onions and tomatoes, we are told that a lot of our tomatoes come from Tanzania and Uganda side. So what is ailing us? Is it the knowledge? Why are we not producing enough? Now that comes to capacity building. We have to pull together. When we set up the industrial park, determine the 5 value chains. We must agree as a community, stakeholders, purpose to inject products into that aggregation park. And now also the owners will be on us to make you see the sense in putting the products there so that we aggregate and fetch better market. So Daktari, I think it's a thought process. We will really need the efforts of everybody. This is a brainchild by national government, agricultural safety, but we have to make it succeed. And I think it's a very welcome idea, especially to agricultural communities like us or counties. Because when you look at other counties who are not well endowed in terms of weather, land mass, and all that, I think for us, this will be a very good game changer for us. And then if I attempt to answer the question which Dr. Reginalda also asked, 5 industries. Yes, we've got a number of them, some vacant, but let us put on our thinking shoes. For instance, now when we go to the peanut factory in Musakasi, we have a peanut factory there. It is struggling. But if we choose, for example, the aggregation park at Sangalo to be the center of aggregation for peanuts, what do we do with the peanut factory in Musakasi? Now that's the thinking we need to engage. We can choose that to be a collection center for peanuts, feed it into the agricultural center. Same with cotton lint in Malakisi. Daktari and their team have been very aggressive, giving people the cotton seed to grow so that Malakisi can have enough gene for the gene. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's take a minute each because we have another panel of discussants. Let's take a minute for the remaining one, just 1 minute as we wind up.
Thank you. I will try to attempt the question for my sister who asked that in Bungoma County, what industries can we encourage to be established within this area. And one, I can propose one of the industries that can be established is the steel industry. Because the primary raw material for a steel industry is basically the scrap metal. Currently, we have 34 steel mills in the country who recycle scrap metal. Then we have the final product of steel that we use in our constructions of roads, bridges, rails, houses. So I believe within this region there's a lot of scrap. And by recycling scrap, we get final product. So a steel company or a steel industry can be established here. My final take, and also in addition to the second part of the question from that time, in terms of what can be done to support agriculture. From where I sit, I believe we can leverage on technology through the use of scrap metal into making farm implements like jembes, forklifts, wheelbarrows. Most of these farm implements are imported into the country, and these are implements and tools that can be made right and made from scrap metal. So through doing that, I am sure we can bring down the cost of agriculture and make sure that the farmer gets profit out of it, because the farm implements that are the available scrap through the use of technology, I believe they will be a bit cheaper.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Deva.
Yeah, thank you. is going down in Bungoma. This could be one of the challenges, but if you produce, you don't see the benefit of what you're getting from the sweat. But with the county aggregation and industrial park, there will be a guaranteed delivery, and then in return you get money for the produce. So with engagement with the primary producer, we can be able now to start increasing the production. The other issue is there are already identified value chains by the Bungoma County, for example. Yes. And these value chains we need to understand from like what Ruben has said. At production level, what are we producing now? What are we consuming? Then we have a surplus which can go towards supporting this. So there is need to start now doing that analysis so that we can be able to see what can be done, what incentives can come on board to trigger more production of that. In these facilities, there was an issue of marginalization. Yes, this is on the table. The issue of discussing issues, people with disability and women, how will they come on board? So we are here to see what kind of strategy we are going to put in place to ensure that they are on board. The last one, moderator, is these particular facilities will be fitted with various machines which are informed by the value chains which are being identified by the companies. And when we are talking of issue, products of the youth, these facilities will have either common manufacturing facility. Those who want to utilize them, you don't require to have a machinery or a machine, so that you can be able to utilize the facility. There will be those who have installed the machine there, you can come and pay, process the product you want to process. Yes. We are also looking at how we are going to bring services for packaging, so that by the time you process your product, you can pack it there and take to the market when it is already packaged and it's ready for all the market. The other issue is we'll be having other services. For example, when you're producing products to completion and for the market, we will need certification. So this journey will involve quite a number of agencies who will be able to provide services. For example, issues of standardization will be there. And what I've said also issues of packaging, which will require to be able to assist these issues. So members of youth cannot be afraid or should not be afraid that they will be disadvantaged.
Thank you.
The facilities will be there.
Thank you. Thank you. Engineer, 1 minute.
Let's respond to the question concerning 5 industries that are established
Sure.
in the area. Now, the key thing about value addition, it could be something as big and expensive as what my colleague has indicated on the metal industry or the steel industry, but also what you're trying to encourage you, because jobs are limited. Yeah. So, what can you do as a person from the back of your house? And there are very simple things that can be done. Value addition can involve something as simple as taking your grains, your legumes, instead of selling it as it is, you simply ensure you clean it, you dry it adequately, and then you pack it. That's really value addition, and that's what our local supermarkets now market is already doing, and buying it in their own. So that's a very simple form of what we look at as value addition. So you can start from a particular point. What the market requires is something that is safe and clean and fit for human consumption, and that's where our camps come in. So you start at that point. The other simple things that you could do, for instance, honey. Honey, you basically need to clean it. You don't need to add anything to it, and you get a product out of it. But can you do it the right way so that you produce something which is safe? Once you've done that, what do you do next with it? There's wax, there's properties. So there are a lot of other things you can get out of it. So you need to look at it from what do I have? How can I add value to it? It doesn't have to be something complex. You need to look at it as simple as possible and go to way to the market. Number two, yes. Go to the final point. Kiria's got an office in Marakisi where we are doing support to SME in terms of soil value addition. We are renting the space from MCA, so we are invited to come to use this facility as a government institution. Number two is that it shall also be a Karibu Business Center, which the CS and the PS will launch tomorrow in Bungoma town. So you're also welcome to visit us at that point. Thank you.
Thank you, MD George.
Thank you very much. I'll pick a few questions, like the issue of Tibet.
Thank you.
And how it's like the youth of Tibet, they are stranded. I think what we should focus on in looking at everything in valuation approach. So in terms of Tibet and in terms of NMC, we can actually support the Tibets in many ways. First, we can provide the machinery and equipment. If you go to Ibabe now, we have a lot of machinery, which we do at our place. Therefore, when someone ends, and during the process of training, when they want attachment, they can come to us. And when they leave, we can provide for them the machinery through a program, because of course there's some money involved, so that when they leave, they already have business of their own, so that they don't learn, and then when they leave, they have nothing to do. So that's one way. So I wanted to connect Tibet and SMEs. When someone leaves Tibet, he becomes an SME, and then it starts growing. Therefore, when we get some work, as for example, some of our big clients, we can share some of the work with SMEs, and therefore they continue growing. In terms of which industries can open, that is valid. It can be many. Already for here, peanut, milk, fruits, soya, cotton, and many others. And even steel mill, which is factory intensive. It doesn't matter, it can be any kind of industry. But also it's good to learn why did the other industries close. Doesn't mean you have to divide those ones, but you need to know why did they close, so that when you start new ones, they also don't close. In a closing remark, NMC is in many fields. I think today, if you go outside and look at Kenya Power Pole, any metallic piece which is there comes from NMC. Just to give you an idea. So we are in energy, we are in aviation now, we are in agriculture, we are in leather, and of course we are in interior and assemblies. Now, coming to agriculture, in order to provide the assistance, a county like Bungoma, which is agricultural related, if you want to make sure industry produce, as I said, you look at the value chain approach. If you have primary product, you need to process it, and then you take it to market. Now, an MC can support you coming with small equipment and machinery, as one of my colleagues said. We can assist in producing jembes, spades, and so on and so forth. But also we can produce small machinery for fruit making or food pulping with other people. Any other kind of machinery can work and then support the agricultural sector. Therefore, they'll have a longer shelf life and of course access the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of beginning Makofi Tafadhali. Let's put our hands together for our discussants as they make their way to their seats now. Makofi Tena Tafadhali. That has been a wonderful technical team. Thank you, honorable people, for joining us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, because of time, we'll be having the next team of discussants come on board. But at this point, I would like to invite the PS for Industrialization, Dr. Juma Muhwana, to come and make brief remarks. Invite His Excellency Dr. Paul Otoma, and then invite CS Miano. Shall we please put our hands together for Dr. Juma Muhwana, please?
Asante Moses. I know we came here and we didn't introduce each other. So let me give you 1 minute to turn to your neighbor and usalamie na introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself. Asante sana. So I think that was good. My name is Juma Mukwana, the PS for Industry. I really want to take this opportunity because I come from this county to invite you, to welcome you to Bungoma County, more specifically my brother, the governor of Busia, His Excellency Paul Otoma. Please give him a clap. And my boss, Honorable Rebecca Miano, the CS for Industry. And when she's here, she's for industry, but we know that she's for investment, trade and industry. And all of you feel honored, feel welcome. We invited you today. We call it an industrialization dinner. So we will discuss about industry and dinner will be served. So that's how generous we are, and I really want to thank all the people that have made this possible. We have a number of sagas that are in the house. Those of us who know Bungoma, this is our time for rain. Every day we get rain, and I know that if the rain came, it will be a bit disruptive. We are discussing this because industry is a critical part of our development. I usually say that if Kenya was a vehicle, then the engine to that vehicle is industry. So if the engine works, then the rest of the car will move. If the engine is bad, it does not matter how well you paint the body. If industry worked in this country, we'll have our jobs, the farmers will have raw materials, we will grow our economy, we'll create employment, we'll export, we'll do a lot of things. And that's why we are very, very passionate about industrialization. This session is also looking at rural industrialization. If you look at our industry, 85% of our industries are located in 4 counties. That's Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, and Machakos. So our 85% of our industries are only in 4 counties, meaning that the other 43 counties of the industries. So part of what we are trying to do through the county aggregation and industrial park, and also talking to different partners, is to bring industry to the villages so that people stop going to Nairobi to look for employment. The other issue that I want to put here, because you are professionals, and I want to recognize the team from the Kibabi University and other places, is the first industrial revolution in the world occurred in the UK in 1740. 1740 to now is nearly 500 years ago. So that industrial revolution of 1740 spread to the rest of Europe, to America. It visited China, it has visited India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, name it. Now, these people are talking about, they had the first industrial revolution, they've had the second industrial revolution, they've had the third industrial revolution. They're actually now looking at the fourth industrial revolution. Africa is yet to see its first industrial revolution. Meaning that in terms of industrialization, Africa has not reached where UK was in 1740. We are the experts, we are the professionals in this room. That is why we call you here. And the question we want you to answer as you go away, because I am a Kenyan, every time you talk about industry, people think about government. In those countries that I have named, in China and India, industry belongs to the private sector. The role of government in industry is to create a level playing ground, to bring rules so that you can invest. Unfortunately, here in Kenya, we still think that industry is the work of government. In fact, I think if we are honest with each other, the reason why some of the industries are not working is because they were government factories. Nowhere in the world has industrialization taken off by industry, by government building and running industries. So our model of government putting up Mias Sugar, Zoya Sugar, whatever you are naming, has not worked. So if we look at all the government factories, because of the bureaucracies that we have, the finance bills, the finance act, if you are following, let me give you an example. If something breaks up in soya sugar, you need to follow the procurement plan. They advertise. The machine is spoiled. You have to advertise. You have to shortlist. You have to evaluate. By the time that spare part comes, you close down a long time ago. But if it's a private company, it breaks down. Today I order, tomorrow it's here. So what we are saying is globally, government was never designed to run factories. The work of running factories belongs to you and me. Now this is my challenge to Africans. Europe was industrialized by Europeans. America was industrialized by Americans. China was industrialized by Chinese. India was industrialized by Indians. When you reach Africa, they think whoever will industrialize this place must look different from us. You come at Nairobi. So we spend a lot of time looking over our back. If somebody mentions the word investor, you look at the back because you think somebody looking like you cannot be an investor. So we are globe-trotting. We are going everywhere looking for these people called investors. Let me tell you the truth. That Kenya would be industrialized because by Kenyans. Bungoma would be industrialized by the people of Bungoma. So if the people of Kisumu cannot industrialize, who do they expect to industrialize? So our message is very clear. Why are we importing toothpicks? Why are we importing matchboxes, matchsticks? All of us here are dressed in clothes whose cotton was not grown in Kenya. Yet we know that this country can grow cotton. Can you imagine if all of us who are sitting here, these clothes were made here in Kenya? How would it look like? And so as part of this commitment, and the CS may back me on this, we are going to say, kama umevaa nguo sio made in Kenya, utatoa nguo uende uchi leo. Because we are very good at theories. You are talking about industry, na umevaa nguo ya Turkey. Nywele ni ya Mexico. Kiatu ni ya. Sasa tunasaidiana namna gani? And then we are talking about buy Kenya, build in Kenya, blah, 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 blah. So itafika bahali tutafunga gate hapo. Waambie wanaangalia kama mtu amevaa kiatu ya nje, atoke uchi aende atafute kiatu ya Kenya. So that I don't bore you too much, you know that we are implementing the county aggregation and industrial parks. This county aggregation and industrial parks will make it very easy for you to manufacture. I know that when I talk about manufacturing, you think that you have to buy land, buy machinery. So what we are making at the industrial park, the county government has already given us land. We are constructing in partnership. The national government has put in each of the counties 250 million. The county is putting in 250 million. We will look for machinery. We put that machinery in. If you want to do milling of maize, all you need to become an industrialist is raw materials. So ukiwa na gunia 100 ya mahindi, unaenda Sagara, una develop product yako, nasema hii inaitwa Husuma special. Kama tunaelewana. Wanakutengenezea unga yako, wanaweka kwa karatasi. Wewe kazi yako ni kwenda kuuza, wao wanakuja pia na yake, unatengeneza, anaenda, mwingine anakuja. So it's called a common manufacturing facility. So it will make it very easy for all of us to go into manufacturing. Because if we don't go there, nobody is going to industrialize Kenya for you. Nobody is going to industrialize Africa for you. Yesterday I was in a meeting Dr. Bungoma here. And the farmers of Busia were asking me, kwa nini sisi tunapanda mchele? Alafu hii mchele inaenda inauzwa Uganda. What is the government doing? I said, if you want to know what to do with rice, just pay a visit to where? Every 5 minutes, 5 meters, there is a rice mill, isn't it? There are even guys there called nice rice millers. Ameweka factory ya mchele lakini yeye mwenyewe atengeneza. Wewe unakuja na kutengenezea na kupakia unaenda. You just pay and go, pay and go, pay and go. This is where we need. So I asked him, in Mwea town, we have over 100 rice mills. Here in Bunyala, we are growing rice and we are going to mill it in Uganda. Ukiona hapo, it tells you something about the entrepreneurial skills of the people of Mwea and the people of Western. So what wetu tuamuke? Manufacturing is our business, and we'll do everything possible to encourage it. We know that it has not worked in the past, and we have said it has not worked because the model we have used was the wrong model, and that is why the students are here from Kibabi University, Masters, PhD. Please study for us what model of manufacturing industrialization do we need in Kenya, in Africa, so that we can create employment in the rural areas and everywhere else that we need. I know that we've been working on cotton, so I'll not go into those details. I really want to thank you for coming. As I said, after these speeches and the last panel discussion, we will have our dinner served. But now at this juncture, allow me to bring my classmate, the governor of Busia, Dr. Paul Otoma. Salamia yeye kwa makofi. Otoma tulisoma na yeye class moja miaka 4 huko kwa university. So ni ndugu yangu ya karibu sana. Thank you. And then he will also be introducing and bringing another classmate. Unajua sasa hapa hii iko ukabila kwa hii room.
Thank you so much, PS. And our chief guest today, who is our CS, who is our CS for Industrialization and Investment, and all distinguished guests, good evening. Asanteni sana. I was not supposed to be here, but I know there is my team here from Busia, my CEC for Trade and Industry, and my chief officer. I think you are the only ones, ama kuna wengine? Kakamega wako. Nilikuwa nasema hawa Busia. Nimewaona hapa. As I said, I was not supposed to be here because today I came directly and specifically for Kibabi, where we were discussing about post-harvest losses. Na huko ndio tumetoka na nikakuja hapa. As Dr. Muhwana said, is my friend. And akaniambia, no, we have even your teams here. And you can just come and say hi and take off and go to where you are supposed to go. So in the process of saying hi, I've also sat through here and I saw the theme today about industrial dialogue, and I saw the panelists who are here. And I was just having some conversation there that I didn't know that, you know, this department has got quite a number of sagas or other departments like we have seen. We have been hearing about them. Numerical, Kiridi, Kitty, you know, so many of them. But I didn't know that they are closely associated. And we have also been having so many problems. It's just last week I called my team here and said, now we are grappling with these KIPES. And I think Busia, we were among the first counties to start. And we are even struggling with a very simple thing like steel structures. You are talking to me about something called what? What? Ile machuma mnachoma Nairobi huko inaitwa nini? Ati I-beams. Ati ndio imesimamisha pale na inafanyiwa somewhere by somebody. Then nimesikia ndugu yangu hapa wa numerical akisema hata hao wanafanyanga mambo ya steel. And I was quickly calculating and saying, if we are already doing 18 counties are doing this thing, and from the figures I was getting, these things are costing us anything between 70 and 100 million. So ukihesabu tu quickly, Madam CS, unaweza kuona how much money is there. And I was saying, if numerical are doing this thing, and I heard about numerical, I think when we were in primary, something about Nyayo Ka. Pioneer, yes. There was some car called Pioneer. I don't know whether it is still there or whether it took off. Ama ni ile original tu ndio bado iko. And then again, something was going through my mind that we are celebrating 61 years of independence. 61 years. Na tulisema tutapigana na ujinga na umaskini na nini? Na magonjwa. Si ndio? And then we are grappling with these kind of things. That even the simple things, industrialization attempts that we had in this region, they are all struggling. The sugar sector. I had a privilege before I started this other life to be the chairman of the Privatization Commission. And we were looking at all these things. And my brother, Dr. PS, you know, sometimes we are implementing what we are saying the opposite. Because we are saying government is not good at sometimes doing business, and that's why these factories are in the state that they are in. Because by the time we were making a decision on COMESA safeguards in the year 2000, which is now almost 25 years ago, we have not done anything which was supposed to revamp that sugarcane industry. Instead of anything, the public sector industries have been struggling, and some have even collapsed. And some collapsed with new machineries in containers. I came to Nzoia here, I saw a container that had never been opened. I went to Miwani, I saw a whole facility, I don't know it was a what in the sugar making process, that was installed but never commissioned. Because of what you are saying, those procurement issues. And in the process, people have suffered. But what has also happened is that the private sector has come in. Because I think we have got now almost 7 or even more than 7 private mills. And we have never had them struggling about paying farmers, nini. But me perennially, every election year, I hear about paying sugarcane farmers that have supplied public institutions. And I still remain baffled, especially with what even you have said here. And a lot of billions is pumped into those things to try and do. So we are defeated. Do we really want to industrialize and move forward? Or are we procrastinating and focusing on things that cannot take this country forward? Lastly, as I was listening to the organizations that were here, a lot of times I was hearing that if you want, or you can come, or you can do this. But what I see in other places, there's a very close link between the private industry and institutions that develop technologies like the ones that were seated here. And even professors who teach in the universities, because of the industry trends, sometimes unaweza kufundisha na unasahau. You find in other places, those people still go back to these institutions to be imparted with the current knowledge that is going on. And even developing new curriculums. Because things are always changing. But here sisi tuna grapple na vitu, na nimeona hapa watu wanaweza kutusaidia with even some of the challenges that we are facing in KIPES. But I don't know how you are going to position it. Waziri yuko hapa labda atatuambia. So that we are responding to the needs of this country. Both in terms of skill development and policy issues that the panel that was seated here was trying to address. Because these problems are real. For us who are now practitioners in our counties, these problems are real. You have got problems. You want to say, we want to do cotton. We want to develop nuts. We want to do this. But you have heard again here, the challenges people are facing is to say, where is the raw material? And yet you knew in advance that to plan industry, these things must go all the way through. If the British could do it 300 or so years ago, why can't we do it? China, which was just behind us 60 years ago, tukipata independence, China pia ilikuwa tu kama sisi. Is it true in this room? You are all, I think you are all professionals. Was China more advanced than Kenya? But now look at where China is. Look at where Korea is, even after the war. Those who have visited that country, you could see that the Japanese you know, they had a scorched earth policy. But within a generation, those people have changed everything. They are one of the biggest steel producers in the world, lakini hawana ene iron ore. Sisi hapa our neighbor, I saw the other day our neighbor telling us here that he has got one of the most purest iron ore. And yet, in the region, what are we grappling with? So I really wish that this industrial dialogue, I want to thank Waziri and your ministry for saying that through this dialogue, let us come up with practical solutions. Let us not live here with academic answers. We must be saying that for Bungoma, as we live here, this is what Kirid is going to do. This is what numerical is going to do. These are the training courses we are going to develop from the value chains that you are talking about. This is what Kitty is going to do. And we as counties will be willing to collaborate. We have already signed, I think Raymond was here. Ndugu yangu, Raymond. Nafikia we have signed with Busia County. The problem now is the raw material. He needs almost 40,000 metric tons. We, I think, currently even not doing 10% of that. But we can do. We have the meeting again, we were here at Kibabi. We were discussing with the presidential economic team. Because we must integrate all these things that the national government is doing and what we, the counties, are doing. So to me, those are the few remarks I can make, that please, let us live here with some practical, doable things so that they don't remain academic. We don't say that when you come, we can do this. We can say that we are going to partner with counties. We have looked at it. You are in these value chains. This is what we can do with you. Siko namna hiyo, the way we did with the Rivertex. Now Rivertex pia, you must have an open mind. We have been told 85% of manufacturing is in only 4 counties. But even if you go in those 4 counties, hakuna pamba yetu iko huko. Iko pamba ya Wakenya inafanya kwa hiyo 4 counties in the textile industry. We are subsidizing farmers in India, in Vietnam, in China. We are only providing labor here. And I don't think that should be the way we can industrialize. Because that's the truth of the matter. In the textile industry, ukienda pale Mavoko, ni sisi tuna supply pamba huko. Hakuna, sio miadi inatoka kule. Sisi those people are only here because we are not able to provide our quota in Agoa. That's why they have set shop here. So we are getting a very small percentage of that opportunity that should have ile tunaita a backflow, a backward leaning all the way to the farmers that produce cotton. But in this case, it is not there. So it is again you people to try and help us on what we can do so that we have a holistic approach. 120 billion importing mafuta ya kupika. Na tuko na njugu, tuko na simsim, shida ni nini? Haya, sijui how many billions importing hizi yarn ya pamba. Na yet we can do those things here. And we used to do them. Not that they were not here. We used to do them. So in this dialogue, to me, that's what I want to throw on the table, and hope that, even if I leave briefly because I have another engagement, that we are going to live here not with academic discussions, but with practical, doable, follow-up discussions. So that tomorrow, numerical can come in and say, we are partnering with the counties, we are going to fabricate for you the steels that you are using in your industrial park. Now your pesa inatoka huko almost, I don't know how many billions. If each county is doing almost 100 million times 18 counties, that is 1.8 billion. You will not be struggling waiting for exchequer. Utakuwa umepata pesa. Kiri the same. Siko na maneno hivyo. Hiyo tu ndio mimi naweza kusema. Others, thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to invite my host and the owner of this meeting, Waziri. Let us all be upstanding for Waziri and with a clap. Karibu sana Waziri. And Waziri, I'll not be rude. I'm sure you know where I am running to. So if I excuse myself, I'm sure it's something that we are going to follow up. Asante. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. We can have our seats. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Allow me to respect the protocols that have already been established, but to recognize one person who was my boss, Daktari Reginalda. Tumpigie makofi. Alikuwa bosi yangu akaninyorosha kabisa mpaka nikafika hapa. Thank you for that. I recognize the presence of all of you who has spared your time to join us this evening. Before I say much, I want to recognize the team that came from Nairobi. We have the MD for East Africa Portland Cement, Adan Mohamed. Naweza simama tu salimie watu. We have John Onyango, MD, Kipi, Kenya Intellectual Properties Institute. We have Dr. Robbie Mbogwa, the CEO, Anti-Counterfeit Authority. Engineer Calvin Onyango, Director General Kirdi. We have Engineer Kennedy Simiu, Acting Director Kitty. We have George Makateto, Acting MD, Numerical Machining Corporation. We have Joseph Mbeva, who was here before. We have Njora Karanja. We have Lydia. Where is Lydia? We have Mary Kemunto, Lillian Mora, Elijah Akumu. We have Mr. Olem, Kosgei Stanley, Christopher Nyabara, Martin Masibo. We have Francis Mugo. We have Nicholas Gakiha. We have Anyaga. We have Ben Mwendwa. We have Nelly. We have many others. Watu wa Nairobi tusimame, because I think we closed to come and be with you this evening to have this valuable industrial dialogue. Thank you very much for coming. I am very delighted, very, very happy to grace this occasion and to share my thoughts in an event organized by the State Department for Industry that is led by Dr. Juma Mukhwana as the PS, and under my ministry, which is the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. And this is part of the pre-Madaraka Day events. So welcome. And once again, I thank you for honoring our invitation to this event. The topic today is the contribution of agricultural value chains to Kenya's industrialization. While the Madaraka Day theme for this year is agriculture and food security, and this links up very well with the discussion for Madaraka Day. Industrialization plays a key role in promoting agriculture and food security. This happens when value addition, employment of new technologies and innovations, addressing post-harvest losses, providing market access, providing machinery and tools that support agricultural production and agro-processing take place. Besides, agriculture provides the raw materials needed for agro-processing industries. And I'm happy about the discussions we are having today because we must industrialize our counties. Kenya's manufacturing sector plays a significant role in our economic development and employment creation. It generates new products for markets, It provides stimulus for growth of the agriculture sector and offers numerous opportunities for export expansion. Between the year 2020 and 2023, the performance of Kenya's agriculture oscillated between 7.9 and 7.6 respectively, and according to the 2024 economic survey, agriculture's contribution to our gross domestic product, or GDP, was 7.6%, which is down from 7.7% in 2023. Manufacturing subsectors that registered major growth in output volume in 2023 were motor vehicle, trailers and semi-trailers, processing, preservation of fish, fabrication of basic metal products, and manufacture of sugar. The contribution of the agriculture sector to our GDP in 2023, as indicated in the 2024 economic survey, stood at only 7%. Clearly, the potential in the agriculture sector is far from fully exploited. Our work is therefore cut out. Our work in Bungoma, our work in other counties is clearly cut out. The agro-processing sector has faced challenges that continue to hinder its growth and development. Some of the challenges facing the agro industries include limited access to land for industrial development. Also, we have fragmentation of the land. We have small areas with low yield per acre, low productivity by farmers, leading to high aggregation costs and high costs of inputs. Other challenges are limited development of input manufacturing, high post-harvest losses that affect the quality and quantity for feasible value addition. We also have limited capacity of value addition. We have lean processing technologies, inadequate linkages between the small-scale production sector and large commercial activities. We also have inconsistency in supply of quality and quantity raw materials for processing, inadequate market and marketing information, alongside inhibitive policies, laws, and regulations. And therefore, this evening, together with some of the organizations that we have here today, especially Kitty and Kirdi, who are tasked with training, innovation, and research, we must rise to the occasion, work with the counties, work with farmers, and do good research on how we are going to surmount these challenges, because we are not going to let challenges take over from our capabilities, from the opportunities that we have. And I will be having a conversation with the institutes that are charged with industrial research and training. We know that many developed countries that have reached the heights that they have reached, they depend on innovation, they depend on research, and they depend on training. So in my ministry, I'm going to keep a very keen eye on industrial research and innovation, rather than us sitting back and reciting our challenges. The Kenya Kwanza's bottom-up economic transformation agenda model is geared towards bringing down the cost of living, eradicating hunger, creating jobs, expanding the tax base, improving the country's foreign exchange balance, as well as creating a conducive environment for inclusive growth. Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the government zeroed in on 5 core pillars, that is agriculture, the micro, small, and medium enterprises. We have the housing and settlements, healthcare, digital superhighway, and the creative economy. And those are the pillars, but we are also keenly working on environment and climate change and anchoring everything in good governance and ease of doing business. In this setup, industrialization or manufacturing, if you may, plays a key catalytic role and is an enabler right across the 5 pillars. And that's why the opportunities that are available for the country in industries run across agriculture, health, housing, the digital economy, and so on, well within the 5 pillars. We are therefore committed to grow startups and small and medium industries, and to show up the contribution of our manufacturing sector to our GDP from the 7% to 20% by 2030. And therefore you can all understand the targets and the goals that have been given to implement, one of which is relevant to our conversation today, is to grow manufacturing to GDP from 7.6% to 20% by 2030. And therefore, that's why we are focusing on counties, because they will have their contribution. We are also committed to increase the share of exports to GDP to 30% from the current 10%, over and above increasing our foreign direct investments from the current $500 million to an ambitious but attainable 10 billion annually. And at this juncture, just to note that our exports are quite low, yet in this country, we have immeasurable opportunities to export our products. Our products out there are in good demand. Our coffee, our tea, our fruits and vegetables have been ranked to be among the best in the world. And working together with the counties, we want to manufacture more so that we can export more and reduce the importation of some of the things that the PS highlighted. As a country, we are importing far too many things that we can manufacture locally. And my challenge today to Bungoma County is to ensure that you have your industries and you contribute to the share of the exports. And all those targets will be achieved through growing value chains across a number of industries, such as leather, agro-processing that we are discussing today, edible oils. We know that the western counties, that will be your niche, edible oils, may it be palm oil, sunflower oil, peanut, and other oils that are available. Cotton is another value chain. We have garments and textiles. We have building materials, among others. So these sectors, if fully developed, hold the secret to our dream to expand opportunities yet to be fully exploited in their respective value chains, and to earn Kenya the much needed foreign currency exchange, besides creating thousands of jobs for our people. And all these opportunities that I have mentioned are available for Bungoma County, that is strategically located, and the Creator also endowed you with a lot of these resources. So ladies and gentlemen, history is replete with examples of industrial breakthroughs that transformed economies hitherto based on agriculture and handicrafts into large-scale industrial economies teeming with concerns ranging from mechanized manufacturing and the factory system. In that transition, we learn how new technologies, modernized machinery, new power sources, and new ways of organizing work can transform industries, making them more productive and efficient. In our quest to promote industrialization, my ministry, together with the counties, is establishing county aggregation and industrial parks, what we are calling KIPES, across the country, and eventually it will be in all the 47 counties. These parks will grow agro-industry value chains and give life to export-led growth and the economic model that goes with the export-led growth. The main objective of the KIPES is to grow manufacturing and investments through agro-industries as a way of enhancing competitiveness of agriculture sector and creating inclusive and decent jobs, while promoting productivity at the farm level. And I urge Bungoma County to take full advantage of the KIPE that we are building in Bungoma, and urging farmers to also do their best so that when the KIPES have been constructed and are complete, they will have enough products and enough raw material to process, and our work will then be to get the market for those products. This model will also increase farmers' incomes, exports, and attract foreign exchange, and ultimately faster growth of our economy at the county level and the national level. Additionally, this will also provide a platform for stakeholders to engage in a bid to promote industrialization in Kenya. I look forward to see the county of Bungoma becoming an expert of a certain product, and some of those we have talked about them. My ministry is committed to ensure strict adherence to internationally approved standards on the value-added products that will be in the counties, because so far 18 parks have been initiated in a continuing program that aims to get concluded by the year 2027. The county government of Bungoma, I am happy that is part of the phase 1 and is part of the 18 counties. My ministry is also promoting, please clap with courage. My ministry is also promoting the establishment of special economic zones and export processing zones meant to unlock large-scale manufacturing over and above expanding the room for more domestic investments. In the coming weeks, we will be in Busia breaking ground for a brand new export processing zone. Further, ladies and gentlemen, application of the right technology research and development to support agriculture is the way to go if we want to increase production, innovation in technology, and this will no doubt yield the desired multiplier effect we hope for. My ministry, through Numerical Machining Complex and the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute that are here, is leading from the front with regard to supplying machinery and machine parts needed for the growth of agro-processing and manufacturing in general. But I urge this organization to disseminate information to make themselves known across the country so that our people can take full advantage of the services that are offered. Further, in promoting access to markets for both industrial and agricultural products, my ministry has signed up several bilateral and multilateral agreements. These include the European Partnership Agreement that we signed in December, and all the others that we have with the East Africa Community, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that now makes Africa one huge market. And as counties plan their manufacturing, we must all realize that the market is larger beyond Kenya and beyond East Africa, because the Africa Continental Free Trade Area offers one of the largest markets in the world. We also have the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa, commonly known as COMESA. Meanwhile, discussions are ongoing for the extension of African Growth and Opportunity Act, that is the AGOA that we have with America. And we have seen a lot of appetite for Kenyan products, and therefore I want to confirm that we have unlimited international markets for our products. We have no reason not to stick to the required compliance standards and to take full advantage of these markets in order to create more employment opportunities and increase our inflow of foreign exchange. Therefore, to grow our agro-processing and consequently expand our economy, there is need for consultative and strengthened collaboration between stakeholders, as well as concerted efforts in building synergies with national and county governments, the private sector, and development partners, and forums such as this, the one we are having today, can only add value to the process. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank the county government of Bungoma and the people of Bungoma for hosting us today and for the continued support it has unfailingly extended to us since we arrived in Bungoma. Thank you also, PS, State Department for Industry, and your team for organizing this forum of engagement. Further, I thank each one of you for accepting to be part of the unfolding dialogue that seeks to position agriculture as the lowest hanging fruit in Kenya's determined bid to industrialize. Let us purpose to make agriculture the source and linchpin of Kenya's industrial takeoff forthwith. And that way, we shall develop our agriculture and related industry and ultimately improve the livelihoods of our people as we grow our economy as indeed desired. I look forward to seeing the work plans that will be developed and the action plans that we shall be implementing, so that our dialogue today in Bungoma is not in vain, and may this be the start of proper industrialization in Bungoma. I thank you all and God bless you. But I also want to announce, since I arrived in Bungoma, I have not tasted a chicken. So may God bless you. I can take one or two questions, if any, but I know PS is going somewhere. One or two, yeah.
Could we please have a question to the CS? Very quick interface of questions, which can take a minute or two. Please give to the young man here. Yes, very fast.
Thank you, OPS, for giving us that moving statement. I'm Chenge Patrice from Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very much concerned with the aggregation industry. My question is, are our policies really favoring industries to grow? Because we have had very many investors who want to come here, and you find terms and conditions to run a factory is quite dear. So I want to request, yes, as we run with this, the structures, we are putting them right. But if the policies are not correct to motivate investment, then we still have to dump centers.
Thank
My
you.
prayer is
Thank you. The last question, kindly. The far back, the last question, kindly. No more hands, because we've got another session of discussants. Very fast, name and question.
My name is Andrew. I run a startup called Andy's Greens. The question is about the plan to actually support startups that are homegrown, especially in Bungoma, because we understand that there's nothing really that is in the pipeline at the moment. Most of us who run startups in Bungoma struggle a lot. Most startups actually die because there's no acceleration program that is supporting any startups in Bungoma, as compared to those ones who are running, for example, in Nairobi. So what's the plan that is there to support startups that are homegrown?
Thank you. Honorable CS. Take the microphone to the CS, kindly. Very fast.
Thank you. I'll take the first question on policies. There are quite a number of policies that have been put in place to support industrialization. That's why we see that we have industrial spaces, special economic zones, export promotion zones. We have the KIPES. In addition, we are also working very firmly on making it easier for industries to have their issues resolved. Our PS here is actually in charge of industry. The State Department does nothing else apart from industry. And we look forward to working, even coming up with new policies and working to get proper legislation that will be able to support this. For example, tomorrow, I am opening a Karibu Business Support Center here in Bungoma, where industries and businessmen or business people can find information, can find data, can register their concerns, can seek clarifications, and all business support related issues will be right here in Bungoma. We have set up the main Karibu Business Support Center in Nairobi. You can walk in there, and it's also an online platform. And I request that we all interact with the Karibu Business Support Centers, give our suggestions, our inputs, and together we work on policies and we work on legislation that will support industrialization. On the issue of startup, I'll start by saying that currently there is a startup bill that is in Parliament. It has just been processed by Senate. It's going to the National Assembly, and all stakeholders should participate in formation of the startup bills, especially those that have actual experience in starting up and those who need to start up. We have other support available for startups. Our Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, KITI, is an incubation center for research and innovation, and especially for startups. You can actually incubate your idea there, and if it is well formed, you then proceed to the entrepreneurial place. We also have Kenya Development Corporation that currently is offering funds. If you have a good business case, it is supporting startups in terms of basic financing, and all that is needed is for you to have a good business case. So I encourage you to interact with us, with Kenya Development Corporation, with KIRDI, with Kenya Industrial Training Institutes. And that's why today we brought all our state agencies to be able to interact with the people of Bungoma. And even after this dialogue, we continue interacting with these organizations. So we remain available to respond to all your concerns. We have an open door policy, and past this dialogue dinner, let us continue and see the fruits of what we have discussed today. Thank you very much, MC.
Thank you very much. The CS said we clap with courage. Can we please clap with courage? Thank you. Thank you very much. PS, I wanted to introduce to you a very wonderful team that is supporting your bid to develop this country and even to develop this county. The national and county government administrators, please stand. You're the supporters number one of this agenda. Please stand, our Ngao team. Thank you. Tuwapigeni makofi. CSPS akija huku Bungoma, hao ndio wamemshikilia. Can we have the youth and persons with the disability in that group? Maendeleo ya wanawake, please be upstanding. Wapigeni makofi. Thank you very much. Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Now, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we are launching the Bungoma Regional Karibu Business Support Center at Nomad House, second floor. So we meet tomorrow at exactly 9 at the Bungoma Members Club. Tukiandamana na waziri wetu, then we go all the way to launch the Regional Karibu Business Support Center. With us now, we have a cake, and we need to have a pre-launch. So let me ask the CS and the PS to come and join us in cutting the cake as a pre-launch for the Bungoma Regional Karibu Business Center. CS, welcome, and PS. After cutting the cake, they can choose how to share the cake. And can you have another? Do you have a county official, Waziri, a chief come? Can you have national government to please join the CS? Chamber of Commerce, you've been invited by the PS. You know, PS would want to have everybody because he has got love for Bungoma. Everybody to come here. Thank you very much. So can we have the process of cutting the cake very briefly? Then the CS will choose to share the cake the way she would deem it fit. Can we now cut the cake? Can we have the song, all of us? Kata, 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 kata keki kata, 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 kata keki kata, 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 kata utugawie, kata, makofi, kata keki kata, 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 kata CS kata, kata utugawie, kata, kata, kata PS kata, kata utugawie. Asante sana, asante. Now the CS and the PS will choose on how to share the cake. If they want to give to one person or give to all of us because of time constraint. Thank you. Thank you very much. They'll choose on how to share the cake. Makofi, makofi, tafadhali, makofi. Makofi, makofi. Ann Nyaga. Ann, please come. Ann, where are you? Come. Thank you very much. Makofi kwa PS tafadhali.
Thank you. We will share the cake with everybody, and I ask the lovely ladies to help share the cake in celebration. Thank you.